So what's the music scene like down there now?
It's pretty good compared to a lot of places. We have, in my opinion, a ton of great musicians and bands here. There's no doubt about that. And when I moved here in 1986, this place was like a metal mecca. It was booming. It was very much like the scene that was going on in Hollywood at the time, but the
Yeah.
difference is Phoenix not only embraced the glam scene, but Phoenix embraced the punk scene and the thrash scene, and the now it's got a lot of the death metal and some black metal bands, and you still have bands around here that are doing the glam thing, and it's really neat because there's just all these different genres of metal bands going on here, and there's some pretty good venues. There's not as many venues as there used to be there were tons of places where the bands would play now, and there's still a good amount, but it's just not near the amount that it was back then.
Yeah.
But I've loved this scene from the first time I played a show here.
Nice. Yeah, I remember a place that I used to go to when I was down there in Phoenix back in the 80s. It was a place called Rockers. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, Rockers is very famous.
Yeah, is it still around?
No, it's
No.
long gone.
That's a
Uh,
bummer.
the first place, the first place that I played in 1986, and you might remember it. It was called the Mason Jar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was legendary. The Mason Jar is gone now. It's still a venue, and they still have bands in there, but it's called the Rebel Lounge.
Huh.
But a man named Franco owned the Mason Jar for like 20 years, and the Mason Jar was Arizona's whiskey a go go.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walked in there, there were photographs in frames, literally all over the place, from the floor to the ceiling, and there are pictures of Franco with all these different rock stars that have played there, as well as local bands that played there. And you really had a sense of when you played that place, you knew that you were playing somewhere special.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not even that big of a place. I think you probably crammed 400 or 500 people in there, but it was just the idea of playing a place that all my heroes had played
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
same stage.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool place.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I was down there, there was a lot of strip bands coming through there. There was a lot of like Motley Crue and stuff like that cruising
Hmm.
through. It was cool. It was cool back then.
Yeah. And like I said, it's still cool now. I mean, in one club you have bands that are Motley Crue tribute bands, and then in another venue you've got some black metal bands, and in another venue you've got some death metal bands, and then you have thrash, and it's really neat.
Nice.
And we're pretty much a big family here in the scene. That's not to say that sometimes people don't get in arguments or disagreements or talk shit about each other. That happens, but that happens in every family. But I will say that as long as I've been in this scene, it really has been a family atmosphere. And most of the bands around here, or the people involved in the scene, are good people, and they support each other, and they go to each other's shows, and wear each other's T-shirts on stage and things like that. And it's really cool.
That is cool. That's way cool. Yeah, up here, it's kind of up in the Seattle area. It's kind of clicky. It's kind of like you drank at the wrong Starbucks store or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that I'll bet that happens everywhere though. In every scene, you've got cliques, and that's just kind of life. I go to a cigar shop here, and I love going there. I love to smoke cigars, and I smoke a pipe sometimes. But anyway, I go to the cigar shop quite often, and even there sometimes has clicks to it, and that's okay. For me, I've been in situations where I was a part of what would be considered really good clicks, and then I've had periods of life where I wasn't involved with any click whatsoever. And for me, it's like I've always kind of done my own thing anyway, so I'm not really much of a clicky person, but I understand why they exist, and it's just really kind of part of life.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes when a clique will like try to hold other bands back or down, that's more out of a jealousy or a fear, and I've never been afraid. Like I'll put Saint Madness on stage against any band in the world, And, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just saying that I believe in my band and we work extremely hard and we rehearse at least 3 nights a week and have done that for the entire 25 years of this band. And, because it is extremely important to us that when we go on stage that we deliver a great show. And a huge part of delivering a great show is being a professional band
Yeah.
and, performing as professionals. And so we work really, really hard at it. So I've never worried about clicks or if a band liked us or didn't like us or whatever. In fact, I prefer to play shows with bands that I think are better than us because it makes us play better.
Yeah.
It's like there's an old saying, your band or your sports team is only as good as your weakest link. And I think shows are like that as well. If you're a band and you only want to play shows with bands that you obviously are better than, well, it's not going to help you to grow. For me, I want to play with bands that make us nervous. I want to watch a band on stage and feel like, oh my God, if we go on after these guys, we've got to really kick ass. These guys are amazing.
Yeah.
I'd rather play with bands like that because it gets the adrenaline going. It makes you take yourself more serious and you kind of step up or you get crushed.
Yeah.
And I love that challenge. I love to be underestimated.